Mortgage holders are breathing a sigh of relief tonight. The Reserve Bank again leaving interest rates on hold at 4.1%. It means outgoing Governor Philip Lowe bows out of the job with a third straight pause. Still, they are notably higher than the 1.5% he inherited when he started in the role. Senior economist at Barrenjoey, Jonathan McMenamin, joins me in the studio tonight. Jonathan, welcome. Now, Philip Lowe said this will give the RBA time to assess the impact of the rate hikes to date. What was your main takeaway from today's statement?
Yeah, that's right. So they've raised rates about 400 basis points since their bottom. And what we're seeing now is there's a long lag time between each of those interest rate rises and the effect it has on the economy. So what they're doing now is they're really pausing and they're waiting to see how that affects household consumption in particular, which has been quite strong since the pandemic ended, or at least people's lockdowns ended. And now we're starting to see households slow their spending quite considerably. And this is giving the RBA a chance to stop and wait and watch.
In other words, when a rate hike happens, the pain isn't felt instantly.
That's right. So it takes a long time for a rate rise to affect mortgage holders. It might take up to 3 months to affect a mortgage holder once the rate rise occurs. There are also longer lags in terms of people having fixed rate mortgages, which was a new invention during the pandemic, or at least something that was taken up a lot more during the pandemic. And so people are just rolling off those fixed rate mortgages now, and there's about a third of that impact from rate rises in the past still to come.
So Governor Lowe has had his last meeting now, and Michelle Bullock takes over the reins in 2 weeks' time. Will she already be thinking about the rate cut that's set to come at some point?
No, so her priority at the moment will be really around trying to get inflation back to 2.5%. We do think this is going to take some time. What we are seeing is the economy, particularly the labour market, is holding up quite well. And this is giving persistence to inflation, particularly as wages growth continues to accelerate, which is a good thing. And because people have been falling behind behind inflation for some time now. What it does mean is that we're probably not going to see an interest rate cut for probably another year or so.
Right, so some economists are saying as early as the start of next year, but you think that'll be delayed. Does that also mean you're expecting fewer cuts next year and in 2025? Yeah,
so we're expecting the first cut to be from August next year, and we are expecting quite a slow profile down, but we are expecting rates to settle somewhere around 2.5% over about an 18-month period. So there will be quite a substantial amount of relief from the current levels that we have at 4.1%, but it is going to be a slower profile and come later than I think some people may be expecting.
Jonathan, let's talk about the national accounts, which are out tomorrow for the June quarter. Is that expected to show a further deterioration in the economy?
Well, what we're expecting is actually a very solid outcome from GDP. We're expecting 0.7% in the quarter, which is quite a large outcome relative to the 0.3 that we saw last quarter. But when you look at the detail, it's really coming through from net exports, so extra exports and less imports. And what we're seeing domestically is actually the consumer is slowing. So when we exclude the export sector of the economy, we're actually looking for a negative 0.3% decline in the economy. So what this is telling you is that interest rate rises are working. It will take some time, though, for this to eventuate to see more spare capacity come through the labour market and then onto inflation because of those long leading lags.
We'll be watching tomorrow. Jonathan, thank you.
No worries. Thank you.